Hello, everybody. You are so wonderful, and I think you are the best. Crack. Tomorrow I'm getting my haircut, and I'm really, really excited about it. Who is stoked for my haircut? No, none of you, but I am. I am stoked for my haircut. Oh, do you want to see something cute? No. That would involve moving. I can't do that. But last year at VidCon, I brought a box of gay with a ton of really cool pins, and this year I'm bringing a bag of gay with a ton of really cool pins, and they're all pride pins, and they're really neat. They're all the different kinds of flags. There's a gender fluid, an agender, a pansexual, bisexual, an aromantic, just a rainbow one, a trans one, a genderqueer one. Is there anything else? The only thing that they didn't have, like the only pin that was not affordable and accessible for me to get was asexual, and I was super mad about that. So for my asexual pals, I got flags. They're actually way bigger and cooler than pins, so there you go. But yeah, so it's neat. So the reason I'm telling you that is because, are you going to VidCon? Will you see me there? I'm going to be carrying around my bag of gay, and if you are going to VidCon, I would love to give you a thing. I would love to give you a pin that corresponds with your identity, or one that doesn't. You can get a pin for a friend. Yeah. So meow 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 meow. Are you going to VidCon? Also, if you're going to VidCon, are you gonna come to the coming out panel on Saturday at 1? Are you gonna do it? You should totally do it. I'm real nervous about it, and if I know that there are people in the audience who are my pals or who like my content, it will make me feel quite a bit better. If you're not, though, no worries. I understand. Not everyone can go to VidCon. And even if you are going to VidCon, you might have another thing that you like better. Totally cool. Just curious. Just throwing the question out there. Speaking of questions, should we get to kind of it's the second to last question that I want to share with you. So here we go. Are you ready? I'm so excited to read your responses. Here we go. Okay. Meow, 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 meow. Coming out is undoubtedly a major aspect in LGBT plus culture and a milestone in LGBT plus lives. But it's not where queer existence stops. Our fight to be who we are isn't over once we come out. I'm wondering, in regards to progress, what is an issue you think LGBT plus people should be focusing on or fighting for right now? So what do you think we should be focusing on or fighting for right now? Because it's, I don't want to, I want to talk about coming out 95% of the panel, but this is such, I think, a cool opportunity to be hey, what should we be doing? How should we be advocating? What is happening in the world that we need to be paying attention to? I just think it would be I don't know. I think not looking to the future or not talking about how we can make change would be a missed opportunity. So that's where this question is coming from. So some things are federally, I think that there should be equal rights for LGBT plus folks. Right now, there aren't. Right now, you can be fired for being LGBT, or I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to eradicate queer from my vocabulary in this context, but I'm going to try to say it much less, because I know we're going to be talking to a large audience, and I know that not everyone necessarily identifies as queer. But I think one of the reasons I like queer is because it can differentiate queer and trans, so it's hard for me because they can be the same conversation, but they can also be two totally different conversations. Being queer in the sense of romantic and sexual orientation. I should just say romantic and sexual orientation. Oof, it's just a mouthful. Really not that hard of a problem though. But those identities are legally recognized. You can get married to a same gender partner, but being non-binary is not something that is legally federally recognized in every state. So I think that is something that definitely we should be working towards, and equal rights for folks of all sexual, romantic, orientations and gender identities. There, that's a better way to say it. You just have to help me, you just have to be there while I, process through it. Thank you for being there while I worked my way through my language. I also think that gender-neutral restrooms in all, federal public buildings should be something that we should be working towards. It's hard to, impose... I mean, I would love gender-neutral restrooms everywhere. It's hard to, impose that on, private spaces and businesses, and baby steps always make things a little bit more manageable. So gender neutral restrooms in federal public spaces would be awesome. They would cost money, but other than that, there's really no con. They could be single stall. Everybody who owns a house has a gender neutral restroom. And nobody feels weird about that. It's just one room, one toilet, and it can make trans and non-binary people feel way more comfortable. Other things are, I think we should be paying attention to the 2020 election. I think we should be focusing on candidates that we think are going to think about us and fight for our rights, and you can decide who you think that is. I know who I don't think that is, but regardless of where you stand politically, I think that thinking about the 2020 election is definitely something that we should be paying attention to right now. Is there anything else? So I talked about equal rights for all LGBT plus folks, which we don't have right now. I talked about, and then some of the specifics for that would be recognizing non-binary identities legally and federally, not just in some states. I talked about not being able to be fired because of your sexual, romantic, or gender identity at work would be great. I also talked about gender-neutral restrooms for more of those. Talked about the 2020 election. Is there anything else that you think? Obviously, advocating for trans women of color, for sure. I wonder what, specifically what that looks like, because when I think about advocating for trans women of color, I think about having conversations about acceptance, and personally just being a good, supportive, loving person. But is there something that we can do that's a little more intentional and a little more specific as far as advocating for trans women of color? Are there any nonprofits that we could get involved with? If you know any, please educate me. I would like to do, I would like to go beyond more than this idea of, we should really advocate for trans women of color, because that's kind of superficial, in my opinion. Not that it doesn't, it can be. It's not superficial, blanket statement, but it can be. I mean, having the conversation and, vocally standing up for trans women of color and including them in conversations definitely is important. But if there's more that we can do that's more actionable, that would be, I think, awesome. And I would like to know if you have any ideas about that. I think anything else that we should be doing or fighting for right now? Let me know your ideas. I'm really curious. I think this is an exciting question. Cool. Are you going to go to VidCon? Are you going to go to the panel? What do you think about the answer to that question? You're the best. Captions for tomorrow's video should be up in 2 hours. I'm excited about it. See ya.